All right, quick recap. Built easy LOI training, of course. We're going to go through all 6 of these. We've already gone through 1 and 2, the general introduction, and setting up, of course, your domains and user accounts last Thursday and Friday. If you have not seen them, go rewatch the replay, or they'll be in the training center by the end of the week. Today, we're going to be going over compiling and exporting data through Propstream. If anybody in here has a batch account and they will also want to kind of go through it together, you're more than welcome to, and we'll do that as well. But today is going to be a really simple day, basically pulling the data that's very specific that we need. And then we'll go into some other specifics as well. I want to go over a few things. When we're pulling data, just remember what the next stage is. The next stage is going to be validating and cleaning or scrubbing that data to make sure that it's clean before we upload it to a CRM. What that means is not too much on the email side of things. There's not really any limitations. On the phone side of things, if you plan on text, having automated text messaging, or maybe you plan on calling those people as well through the CRM, it's recommended to put it through Phone Validator. And we'll get into the actual cleaning of data tomorrow. But I want you guys to know that if you guys choose to go down that route, that means you need more data. And what I mean by that is there is a minimum charge on Phone Validator, and that's the tool that we like to use, of $35. What does that equate to? Roughly 800 and something contacts or leads or lists of data, whatever you want to call it. Here's the reality. You guys plan on doing this for the long haul, so what's 800 pieces of data? Nothing. You'll probably go through it in a week or 2 weeks. Just keep that in mind. So when we're going through Propstream today, I'm not going to be pulling thousands and thousands of leads that are on there. I mean, we're not even going to find that much per state anyways. But just keep that in mind that if you want to save costs in the long run using phone validation, then you need to have at least 800 contacts. All right, but let's go ahead and jump right in. Actually, before that, did everybody set up their account with their domains and emails and users from last week? Everybody good on that? Any questions before we actually jump on this? So let's jump right in if we don't have any more questions in regards to last week's. Propstream. If you don't have Propstream, we're partners with them, of course, or you can use anybody else's account, whatever, it doesn't matter, as long as you get your data. If you don't have Propstream, you have Batch, that's fine. If you have PropWire, that's fine. The same way you would filter the data is pretty much generic on every single platform. You might have a missing piece to it, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to go through this step by step, and I'm going to explain every single one of them so we know what we're pulling and the reason why. So, Propstream. The way we're going to do this is by county. Of course, you can do by city or zip code or whatever. Again, I'm just going to use examples here, and you guys can put whatever counties that you guys have. The main purpose here is the filtration. And if you don't have enough data, just add another county, add another city, and then, of course, pull that data, maybe then search again, keep adding to your file. So right now we're only going to pull one. Let's just say we're going to use Hillsborough County, Florida, which is, Tampa and its surrounding. First thing we need to do once we choose an actual county or city is we're going to need to click on the filter button. I'm going to open up the help center as well simultaneously. And if you guys want to follow along through the text version, if you go to builtcrm.com/help, you will find the same resources under the category. Click on Easy LOI, Low Equity, Load More, How to Filter and Export Property Data. And this one's specific to Propstream. Okay, this is basically what I'm following. If you guys want to be able to follow along. We're not getting creative here. We're not being too specific or anything like that. We're just literally just following step by step. The whole point of this was to make it easy for you all. Okay, so we don't have to think, we can just do. So we're gonna put in whatever county, we're gonna click on filter, and now we're going to apply certain filters. The first one we're gonna do is property characteristics. And we're going to choose here residential for the property type and single family. So if you want to target other, you're more than welcome to, but it's not the end of the world. So residential and single family for property classification and property type. Next, we're going to go to I'm going to close this one and we're going to go to MLS status. Now, right before for property classifications, if you want anything else in here, just remember you can, okay? But you might have to change how your messaging goes out to the agent if you plan on doing, let's say, commercial or multifamily. You might need to change how that operates. I would suggest you just sticking to the residential and single family for now. MLS status. Now we're going to choose on market, of course, because we only want to target properties that already have an interest to sell. And the whole goal is to deal with real estate agents. Next, we're going to go for listing type or sale. We don't need any of the for rent properties. If they do pop up in your search, regardless, just take them out. Listing type, we said for sale. MLS status, we're going to select active. Again, we're just working on the ones that are on market currently right now. As far as the list price or the listing amount, I personally don't like going above $750,000. Now, again, if you choose to do or target higher listing properties, be my guest. But for this purpose, we are going to restrict it. It's a lot easier when you're dealing with smaller properties, of course. And then, of course, we are going to go to valuation equity, which is all the way down here. We are skipping a few categories because it's irrelevant to us. And the estimated equity percentage. Now, again, you can keep this, at a max of 15%, a max at 20%. If you want to be a little extra and be at 25%, again, be my guest. There's no right or wrong answer here because our offers are still going to make sure that it doesn't matter how much equity, as long as we have, let's say, a specific entry fee or offer, we're kind of take that into consideration. The percentage is there so we don't have to target properties that have too much equity. But if you want to increase the amount of properties that show up, well, then you might want to increase it to 20 or 25%. And then next, we're going to go to mortgage info. Again, here you can have multiple mortgages. Again, it's easier when you're talking to these people, especially in the beginning. If you haven't locked up a creative deal, deal with one mortgage. Doesn't mean you can't do it if there's two, or maybe they have a HELOC, or maybe they have, second, third, fourth liens and stuff like that on the property. It's just easier for you to determine or how to structure a deal, especially later on when it gets to evaluations. So for this purpose, we're going to put one. Interest rate here, we are going to put, no more than, let's say, 5%. Again, if you want to increase it to 6 or 7, you're more than welcome to. The more constricted you keep it, the more targeted, hyper-targeted the data is. And then the last one right here is going to be loan type. So the loan type here, we want to choose conventional, FHA, and VA. Do we want a reverse mortgage? No, because that's almost, who would want to take that over subject to? Commercial and construction loans, like hard money loans, we don't want to take that over either. Commercial, if you are doing commercial, that's fine. Credit lines, I guess you could, but their interest rates are kind of out of whack. If we're sticking to our less than 5% interest anyways, you're probably not going to get those. Now that we have all this, this is the filter that we need. So we're going to go ahead and hit close. Right now, just searching those properties. Let's make sure that this is saved. I'll just go ahead and do it real quick. So residential, single family, and then MLS status. Okay, that worked. Okay, cool. MLS status, on market, yes. For sale, active, no more than 750. Go to valuation and equity, 15%. Cool, so it's keeping our information now. Open mortgages, 1. Interest rate, let's just do 5. And then interest rate types, conventional, FHA, VA. All right, cool. So here we go. We have 39 properties in this particular area. Again, you can go as wide as you need it to go. You can add more cities, you can add more counties, you can do however you want. For this purpose, we're just going to use this so you can know the exact process, and then of course you can add more to it. So for now, we're going to select all those properties. So if you click on a little checkbox right here, it'll say how many is selected. If you have a lot more properties, of course, you might have to select the actual amount next to it if it's more than one page. But we're going to basically review these properties, and then we're going to add it to a list. We're going to add list. You can create a new one, or you can add to an existing if you already have it, but we're going to create new for this purpose right here. And we're going to call it maybe Hillsborough County, and then maybe you can date it so you know when that data was from. And then for this case, we'll just say 8/19. And we're going to go ahead and click save. Just hit close. What's going to happen now is these properties have been added to your list in the properties section under my properties. If you go there now, you'll see there's a bunch of lists already in here. And so our marketing list is going to be 8/19, which is right here. If you're using batch, it's very similar. Again, you just filter your properties, and again, you have to go find it in your properties section. Keep that in mind. It might be a little bit different, but basically the same thing. So what we're going to do right here is, now that we have our property list or our marketing list that we just created, we can view it right here, but we want to filter this data that pops up. We don't want all of these columns because a lot of it's kind of irrelevant, but we do want certain ones that have to do with the on market, the agent information, and so forth. We're going to go ahead and click on this little gear icon all the way here to the right. And then we're going to literally click on the layout that we want, so that when we do export the file, we're not getting too much information that we don't need. Again, in this scenario, you can take the owner's information. That's cool. I don't really care about their mailing info. What I do care about is the address, the city, the state, the zip, and of course the county. So we're going to go ahead and click on the county. Under open loan, we're going to skip a few things. We want the loan one balance, the loan one type. So loan one balance, loan one type. We're going to want the loan one rate, and of course the loan rate type. So loan one rate type and loan one rate. That's the information if we pulled only, let's say, one mortgagee. So we had that option of choosing it prior. Now, if you want to pull multiple, of course, second lien, third lien, then of course you would pull the same exact, the balance, the type, the rate, and the rate type of the second and the third and the fourth. I know this is very technical and very specific buttons, but again, if you follow along, you can't mess up. Next, we're going to go to calculations. And inside here, we're going to choose the estimated remaining balance and the estimated value and the estimated equity. So estimated remaining balance, estimated value, estimated equity. We don't need anything else in here. And then we'll go to MLS. And here, I mean, we're going to take the MLS status. We're going to take the MLS amount. We're going to take the agent name, the phone number, and the email that's inside there. If you pulled data prior and you're like, oh, the agent information didn't show up, it's probably because you did not click on these buttons in the filters. And now that we have this, we're just going to click apply and save. So now our data is very specific. We know exactly what we need. We don't have to remove columns later on and all that. We have exactly what we want. Now we're just going to select all of these properties all over again. And this time we're going to click on the actions. And we're going to choose export CSV. When you do this, it automatically downloads to your computer a file. So normally in this stage, I would recommend you guys to, of course, organize yourself in folders, because this is just raw data from Propstream or Batch or wherever you get it from. It's still raw data. And what I mean by that is, well, number one, some of the phone numbers are missing, some of the emails are missing. But not only that, we have not verified these phone numbers or emails yet. Notice how everything in here is the requirements that we need for our CRM. Of course, there's owner information in here, which is kind of irrelevant, but we don't really need to take that into consideration. So right now, what I would suggest, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do this in a Google Drive folder. You can do it on your computer the same way. I would say create a new folder. And for this one, I'm just gonna call this one Hillsborough, or let's just say data for now. So data pool. And inside of that folder, so let's just say in the data pool, this is the actual file that we just exported. I want you guys to create a new folder inside of here, and we're going to call this phone verified. And then also you might want to have one that it's email verified. Again, you don't have to do it this way. You could honestly do it within the spreadsheet with new tabs. This is might be easier for everyone. And then we can have a new folder for, let's say, final. Because data management is a really big part of real estate. Pulling data every day, all day, so that we have enough leads coming in our system. And so if you have that, now you know the final one is always the clean data that's verified and so forth. And whenever you do get the other data from these other providers, you can just throw them in there. And sometimes you'll get data that's inaccurate, or let's say it failed. Let's say 30% of your phone numbers or 30% of your emails are inaccurate. Well, you can delete those and go find new emails, go find new phone numbers. So you're not wasting money again, pulling more data and skip tracing and so forth. So if we go back to this data, what do we have here? We have the address, the city, the state, county, zip code, and then the cool stuff that's going to help us with automations, the agent information. Notice in here we have 1, 2, 3 emails out of 39 that are not in here. Let's say you're targeting a whole nother city or state or county and you don't have that many emails. You might have to find those emails, okay, or use a different software like batch leads. And even them, they might not be perfect. So just keep in mind, every county is different. If the phone number is on here, the easiest way getting into this is literally just taking the agent's name and type agent. And if it pops up, let's say for Hillsborough County, well, here's Florida, Dublin. You could also actually take the property address, which is even easier, and open up Zillow. Again, every county is going to be different. But now if I go down here, I find their phone number. So I can take that phone number and I can literally go through this and paste it. Now again, if you think this is too much effort, you can honestly just delete the entire cell. But guess what? Other people are going to copy and paste the phone number from Zillow or from the internet, and they're going to be ahead of you because they're the only ones that's sending an offer to this property. Same thing. Go ahead and just copy and paste. And go back over here, put the property, open it up. Here's the agent. Oops, this one's actually sold. So, of course, in this scenario, we probably don't even want this property. We're just going to go ahead and delete it. Now, I'm not going to say for you that you need to go through all of these properties and check if they're valid, right? You'll know they're not valid when the agent doesn't even respond to you or they tell you it's already sold. So you don't have to worry about that. But here's another property. Again, here's the agent, Carlene, their phone number. I'm going to copy it. But basically, you kind of want to go through the rest and do the same thing. So I'll make sure all these are taken care of course, for our data that we're going to put through Phone Validator tomorrow and stuff. But I want you guys to pull your own data as well, so we can all go through this together.